Every morning, the countdown begins for the markets with meticulous research and analysis designed to help you capitalize on the trading day. Beaming live from the CNBC TV 18 Motilal Oswal studio.
Good morning, hello and welcome. You're with us on Bazaar Morning Call. As always, we're coming to you from the CNBC TV 18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Surbhi Upadhyay, with me Nigel D'Souza and Reema Tendulkar. And guys, now it's like a literal countdown on, right? 4 plus 2, maybe 7 odd trading sessions left, or maybe 8 trading sessions left before this year winds down. It's been a challenging one, but the bulls will hope that now in these last 7 to 8 trading sessions, they can get some cheer.
Well, that's right. And, on Friday, it was a pretty good trading session. The bulls will be hoping towards the end of this year, hopefully, you see a bigger performance coming in from the broader markets as well, which will be heartening to see.
Guys, finally, the Christmas week is here, and next week will be the New Year's week. So last few days, and let's get the show started.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Santa cheer. Well, there's not been too much of that on the screen. But we had a little bit of a glimpse of it on Friday, and the bulls will hope that that continues. So let's see what the global setup is like. It's actually not too bad because we've had a positive close on Friday on Wall Street. Most indices were up. The great AI trade seems to be back. Actually, a couple of these AI-related stocks did very, very well, starting with the Oracle. Oracle is the one that pulled things down last week. But, on Friday, it was up 6-7%. It was reacting to the TikTok deal. Oracle is now one of the owners of the US entity that owns TikTok, along with the Silver Lake and the Abu Dhabi fund. So that really caught a lot of attention. There was buying on NVIDIA, 4%, different reports indicating that perhaps the US government could offer NVIDIA some respite, could allow it to start selling some of its chips in China with restrictions, not the entire bouquet, but at least some products could be opened up for Chinese sales. So that got, again, the market excited. And Micron continued its winning ways. Micron was up 10% when the numbers came out last week. It was up another 6-7% on Friday. So really the AI trade pulled things higher, and the Nasdaq was the best performer on Friday. Not too much movement in terms of the dollar or the yields. The data point that was out was the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. And that was a little softer than expectations. On the back of that, the 10-year yield moved up a couple of notches. 4.15 is where we left things on Friday. By the way, speaking of yields, the Japanese bond yield, 10-year yield, did close above the 2% handle. So that's something that we're going to watch out for as well. Speaking of Asia, not just Japan, obviously we need to watch for China because there's news coming out of there. Interest rates left unchanged for 7 months in a row, despite the weakness that we've seen in Chinese retail sales and Chinese industrial output, but no change in the 1-year or the 5-year loan prime rate. So no fresh cuts announced over there. Now, the little bit of a Santa cheer that's coming in is coming in the form of this cash market buying. And on Friday, we had a little bit of that as well, about 1,800 crores. But by the way, for December as a month, we're still net negative on FPI numbers by almost 14,500 crores. So December has not been a great month in terms of FPI. So the last couple of sessions, things have looked a little better. Now, the rupee is something we need to keep an eye out on. You remember as we were closing trade on Friday, that absolutely massive sharp surge that came in. I mean, the currency moved by a whole rupee. That's the kind of, improvement that we were speaking of. We don't have any more specifics on the trade deal. I mean, that's the big negative over the weekend. We don't have any clear comments. Jameson Greer did make a remark to Bloomberg and said that negotiations are still ongoing with India. He was speaking with the reporter both on EU and India, which have been slightly stickier trading deals to negotiate. And that's all we know, but no further clues in terms of progress on the India-US trade deal. So that's a bit of a dampener. Now, for us, the Nifty is once again coming to the top end of the trading range, which is anyway a very narrow trading range. 25,700 on the way down, 26,100 on the way up. And now we're again approaching the 26,000 handle, which is where things kind of get stalled. But watch for financials because, and we'll talk about this as we go over, there are lots and lots of positive brokerage upgrades, commentary coming in on Shriram Finance. The street has taken it rather well. There's $4 billion stake purchase that they've got. So that's something we'll watch out for. So financials continue to be in focus. But otherwise, Nigel, hoping for more of that positivity.
Well, that's right, Surbhi. In fact, in Friday's trading session, it was a good one for the Nifty as well. We broke the 4-session losing streak. You made a higher high and a higher low, and we ended around the 20 DMA. But the bigger positive was what happened in the broader markets. And the market breadth, in fact, it turned positive. After 3 days of weakness, if you look at the BSE advanced decline ratio, that was at around 1.91, which is the highest we saw since November 26. So the broader market outperformance was heartening to see in Friday's trading session. As you said, institutions were buyers in cash, and clearly there were signs of short covering in the index future space itself. The Nifty open interest was down, the Nifty Bank open interest as well was down. And that perfectly ties in with what we saw from the FIs. So first signs of shorts getting covered out, 5,900 contracts did get covered out. Though you need to keep in mind, the FIs, well, they continue to remain net short at around 91%. So on index futures, stock futures, you had covering that was seen from the FIs. And we were mentioning this last week, that it was getting a little bit excessive. The FI net short positions were holding at around the 92% odd. They're still holding at around 91%. But there was a first glimpse of short covering that we saw. What about the Nifty PCR? Well, that had come down to around that 0.9 odd. That's moved back up to around 1.13. Why did that happen? Because the put writers came back into play. And the call writers, after the kind of velocity we saw on the upside, some of those call writers were packing out. So the 25,900 put, 25,800 put, both of them were fairly active in Friday's trading session. What are the levels to track? Well, the recent low, that's 11th of December low, at around the 25,700, that becomes the important support zone that you're looking at. Just in the near term, that's a reference point you have on the downside. But on the upside, going by the options data, going by the kind of levels we've seen in the past from where the Nifty's done a bit of a U-turn, this 26,150 to around 26,200, that appears to be a bit of a congestion zone. And the bulls will actually want to go ahead and conquer this mark. And for that to happen, you'll require support coming in from the Nifty Bank because that's in that range, 20 as well as 50 DMA. On the downside, this 50 DMA becomes important. It should not be breaching that mark. Ballpark around 58,500. That's where you have the 50 DMA. But on the upside, this 59,270 is the important mark on the upside. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Stocks that I'm looking at, I think the stock of the day could be GE Vernova TNT because they've gone ahead and they've won, an order coming in from an Adani Group subsidiary, and it's an HVDC project. Nuvama, they put out a note, they see there's an upside risk to their earnings, to their target price as well, and their current order book is around 13,000 crores. This order itself could be in the vicinity of around 8,000 crores or thereabouts. So that's the kind of magnitude in terms of the order. This probably will be the stock of the day, GE Vernova TNT, stock to watch for today.
Thank you very much for that. A quick check on Asia. Japanese markets are soaring. It's a 2% rally. This is after Bank of Japan, remember, raised the interest rates to a 3-decade high. So Japan and Kospi both up 2%. Taiwanese markets also soaring, 1.5% up on that. Hang Seng is a bit subdued. SGX Nifty should come up for you on your screen.